Tippy time, my dammies, Top Cat here, and welcome back to the channel. So far we've used a lot of ARC 3.0 Hunter builds and had a lot of fun with them, but with the new raid up around the corner, we wanted to focus on one thing, DPS. So we wanted to make the most of our super and also the most of our heavy weapons, and with this build we do both. Since the launch of the Kingswall raid, health bars have been a big topic in the community. Bosses like the War Priest and Orcs have got like millions upon millions of XP, and it's just taking a lot to damage them, particularly with the new Master Raid dropping today, that we just wanted to find a way to try and maximize our output of damage. But this build will work most everywhere. I've used it to solo the dungeon, I've used it in the raid. It's adaptable enough to be able to swap some weapons out, so you got a bit of free flow and choice for whatever you might want, and it always does mad DPS no matter your fire team comp. So first up we're going to be looking at the Gathering Storm. This is our first like long range ARC super that we have for our ARC 3.0 Hunter, and it is a delightful addition to our super tree. Its base damage already does much more than most, but we're going to step that up one further and use the Star Eater scales. Its armor perk, Feast of Light, you gain additional super energy from orbs of power you pick up. While your super energy is full, picking up an orb of power overcharges your super. This is stacking up to 4, so you need 4 orbs, causing you to gain a burst of healing when you cast and bonus super damage, which is most important here. So at full stacks it's going to give us a bonus 100k damage, which you're always going to take, aren't you? It's free, easy damage. Well, I say free, it's not so free, you have to make orbs, but making orbs is the easy part. We're going to bang on a harmonic siphon mod on our helmet, that way we can get orbs when we get weapon kills, and we are generally running ARC secondary weapons on this build. I'm loving the new Crucible SMG, the Out of Bounds. I've been using this for generally any raid or dungeon I've been doing, and I find it more than capable. I soloed the duality earlier with it, it just slays out enemies very, very easily. There's heaps of different amazing rolls in this thing, so just find one that you like and it will not let you down. In terms of an auto rifle, you're going to want one of these for anti-barrier, but I also like this just when I'm coming up against Legionnaire shields and things of the nature, because it just pierces straight through them and makes both in-game and general content a lot easier. You're going to want an Arc Pulse. I would highly recommend the Horror's Least Adept. This thing is amazing and I could not speak highly enough of it. Secondary choice would probably be Insidious from the Vow Raid, but Horror's Least is a brutal weapon. There are a couple of good ARC bows to choose from. I primarily have been using the WOLFTONE draw. My one has Dragonfly, and I've been finding this really good in making orbs, because those explosions just go pop and out pop the orbs. But you could use the old Iron Banner one, or the Arsenic Bite are other great options as well. And this is my primary source of overload. So now that we've got our primary source of making orbs sorted out, we're going to move on to making our super one step stronger again. We're going to be using the seasonal mod, Thunderous Retort. This grants bonus ARC super damage if cast while you are critically wounded, or easier is to just make sure you're amplified, and this will last until the super activation. And it's because of this mod that this super is now the strongest in all of the game. Used to be the Blade Barrage with these Star Eater scales, it is now the Gathering Storm, as that bonus is 30% extra damage, pushing our super damage up as high as 690,000. This number is based at the equal scale, so you can go plus 30 in higher content, so as the season goes along, we will get even more damage from this. So now that we got some badass super damage done, we're going to go hard out on our heavy weapon damage. For this we're using the Legend of Acreus, and with the catalyst that has been given to this thing, it now has Trench Barrel, giving us a bonus 50% to our damage. This thing for a long time has been strong but kind of impractical, but now we just simply slap something in the face and get a bonus 50% damage. How can we not look at using this thing? I've compared its damage numbers to other heavy weapons that we could be using. Linear fusion rifles are currently one of the best weapon choices to go with in the game, and when I looked at the linears, this pretty much out DPS them by about 10%. I think it was only a firing line Storm Chaser that really done more damage than this, and When I say more, it was very marginal, like 5% more. But this, however, done more burst damage, which is one of the great things about it. But when you're in nice and close, you might want to do the whole melee shoot, just to keep you nice and close. However, this gun does do reserves a lot better. If you double stack your reserves, you're going to gain an additional 200k damage more than a linear fusion rifle, so great in that department. We are also going to be running a Font of Might build on top of this, so we're going to need a melee well maker, elemental time dilation, and we will be triple stacking Font of Might to give us 20 seconds of Font of Might damage. This is 25% extra damage, and this is enough for any cycle that we can go straight through our heavy reserves with ease. So the Acreus is without a doubt the new DPS king of this game. But you need to be aware, this is situational, of course. This is when we're right up in somebody's face. It's great if you want to solo the dungeon, but if you're running in a raid team, you know, you're trying to kill Oryx, we're not going to be trench barrowing him to death. You can do it on his hand at the edge, but you're still going to do a final stance, so always have a Storm Chaser on you. But it's great, the Font of Might, additionally as well, when you're just running around with your little pew pew SMG, it's just great to add additional damage to your run and gun gameplay as well. So between our Font of Might at Acreus and our Star Eater scales, we are dropping 3 mil easy damage. So that is out of the way. Now we can look at the rest of our class. We are going to be using our Gambler's Dodge. So when we dodge next to an enemy, we're going to get our melee ability given to us. We will be using Combination Blow. So when we defeat a target with this, it's also going to refresh our class ability. And importantly, this is also going to restore a small amount of health. This is a great get out of jail free card, and I highly recommend this melee combination. Just a simple dodge punch, dodge punch, dodge punch, and this will stack up in damage, and you've always got the healing in your back pocket. Not only is this strong, we want to use this as we want a reliable source of making wells, because our wells is going to keep us stocked up with that Font of Might, so we're always going to be deadly, not only with our fists, but also with our guns. Aspect Lethal Current. After dodging, your next melee attack has increased lunge range. This will jolt the target and creates damaging aftershock. If we damage a jolted target with a melee attack, this also blinds them. We will also be operating Flow State. So when we defeat a jolted target, this makes you amplified. This is going to be key towards making our super that much stronger. So whilst we're amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly. You are more resilient whilst dodging, very, very good, particularly in in-game content, and your reload is greatly increased. Now, my next suggestion isn't vital to the build, but I would like to try recommending the Flashbang Grenade. Explosive grenade that damages targets, and it damages them more than you might think, and more importantly, it blinds the targets. This makes it easy to get that melee chain going, get the weapon chain going. It's just a little peace of mind when you're doing content by yourself, particularly when you're overworked and overcrowded. This just makes the gunfight that much easier. I found that between my super and my heavy weapon, I do enough DPS, so it's nice to have a tactical grenade that makes the ebb and flow a little bit easier. And it's for this reason, one of my 3 primary weapons I use in the kinetic slot is the Pardon Our Dust. Whether you're solo or in a fire team, it's always great to just run in there when everything is blind and just go nuke everything, be the action hero. I love this thing to pieces. My second pick is the Wastelander M5 shotgun. Now I'm using a Subsistence Adagio roll. I find this a great combination, particularly when you just want to run and gun. You don't have to go with this gun, this roll, but I recommend a shotgun in this slot. It is very viable towards this build. And lastly, for a bit of range, I'm using the Succession Sniper Rifle. You get this from Deepstone Crypt. It is well worth farming. I'm using the G-roll, the Reconstruction and Vorpal weapon. This is great just for knocking down heads, whether they be Guardians or Orange Bars alike. It also does good amount of boss DPS as well, so you got that other thing for range in your back pocket. For the first of our fragments, we are going to be using Spark of Amplitude. So when we rapidly defeat targets while you are amplified, this is going to create an orb of power. Now we already have harmonic orb production going on, so this is essentially just doubling our effect of it. So we're just pumping these orbs out. You might get 1 kill and see 2 orbs pump out of one guy's head. This is so delicious, and so you're always going to have your Star Eater scales rocked and ready to go. I cannot recommend this mod highly enough. So good for quick turnaround on damage phases. Spark of Resistance. whilst you are surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. Now this actually automatically procs when you get close to targets, which is great. It's going to last approximately 5 seconds, and this will give you an additional 30% damage resistance. So I don't think there's much trying to talk you into this one. Most of you already had this equipped or have had this equipped at some point and know its strength already. I am also running Spark of Feedback, so when we take melee damage, briefly increases our outgoing melee damage. Being we are running a combination blow setup, I found this extremely practical because you are in the thick of it and sometimes you are going to take a hook to the cheek. So just turn back around and smack them in the cheek for some little bit of extra free damage. So always tasty. Get that punch, get that health back, do the extra damage, loving it. And last up, we're using Spark of Frequency. So melee hits greatly increase your reload speed for a short duration. This is extremely good whether you're running your SMG or you're running your Acreus. Just punch them in the face and you get that like Ophidian like aspect style reload. I'd argue it's even better than Ophidian aspect. This might actually be the quickest reload in the game. I've yet to see stats on it, but it honestly feels lightning McQueen quick. And I would recommend this on any shotgun build you might have in the future. For our mods and the loadout, I will leave them in the description, but I'll quickly cover them off. We are using a melee well maker on our helmet, a harmonic siphon, and a shotgun ammo finder, mental time dilation, unstoppable shotgun, or whatever champ mod you might want, and a fastball, Pontomite, melee damage resistance, and thermoshock plating, a second Pontomite, better already, and a shotgun scav, and our third Pontomite, and lastly our thunderous retort for our 30% free super damage. And that is our build for today. You are now the DPS king. This super is without a doubt the best super in the game. You got an Acreus which is just so dominant in close range DPS, really quick and great reserves. You can always swap it out for a Storm Chaser if you need to do some long range damage, but it is great in any regards. Pontomite is going to make our heavy weapon super and our energy weapon super. If you liked this video, please hit that thumbs. If you're new and you liked it, please subscribe. If you've got any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. But until next time, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.